Thank you very much for joining us today, Oliver and Emma. Very much appreciated. Perhaps if we start off firstly with you, Oliver, and give an explanation of what exactly is the UK Parkinson's Clinical Study Group.
Thanks, Simon. So many clinicians, scientists in the United Kingdom have been very active already over the last years in the trial space, so to speak. But so far, we've not really had a platform. We've not really had a structure or an organization where we could really synchronize and synergize our efforts. And that's really what it's all about. So we want to make sure that those people who already work informally together will now have a platform where they regularly meet up, exchange ideas, work more closely still together, and more importantly still, we want to get new centers on board to make sure that we really provide as many patients as possible to participate in exciting studies.
Very good. Are there other groups like this around the world, Oliver?
Yes, and they've really in some ways formed a model for what we want to do. So there's an extremely successful Parkinson's disease clinical study group in the United States, but there are also similar study groups in France and in Germany. But in addition to that, it's also important to acknowledge that there are actually already very successful clinical study groups for other brain disorders here in the United Kingdom. For example, a highly successful clinical study group for a different neurodegenerative disorder called motor neuron disease.
Okay. And Emma, perhaps you can explain what some of the goals of this group will be.
Yes, absolutely. So our main aim is to maximise the capacity and capability of Parkinson's clinical research across the UK. And we're hoping to streamline the benefits of the research to those affected by Parkinson's. So we aim to increase participation opportunities. We're hoping to enhance the data flow throughout the life cycle of the studies. We're hoping to facilitate collaborations both with different researchers and investigators, but also with patient and public representatives, and also to make sure that we can optimise the efficiency of the research taking place so that we can get those positive impacts to those affected by Parkinson's disease.
That sounds fantastic. Thanks, Emma. So Oliver, could you tell us how this study group could potentially accelerate clinical trials?
If you want to start a new neuroprotection trial, or indeed any form of clinical study in Parkinson's disease in the United Kingdom, then what you usually do at the moment is you just reach out to your mates. And in many ways, that's a good starting point because the Parkinson's disease community here in the UK is very supportive and very collaborative. But of course, you end up approaching the same people time and again. And what we really want to make sure is that in the future, we reach out to people who have not been involved in research before, who've not participated in clinical trials before. And that applies to both clinician scientists who would open up new trial sites, so to speak, and of course, even more so to patients who've not had the opportunity to previously participate in clinical trials.
Thanks, Oliver. So could you just elaborate on how this sort of group and infrastructure could accelerate clinical trials and how they are set up?
So of course, that's going to be a huge challenge, but we will pursue different strategies to achieve this. So to begin with, we will have a web page where patients, lay people, clinicians with an interest in Parkinson's disease will find all the relevant information. In addition to this, we also want to make sure that we stay in regular contact with each other. By we, I mean both the clinician scientists with each other and patients and patient representatives. And to achieve this, we will have monthly virtual meetings and also an annual face-to-face meeting. In addition to this, we will make sure that we don't try to reinvent the wheel, that we don't try and establish something here which will be completely separate from already existing structures. We will establish this in close collaboration with Cure Parkinson's, but also other relevant charities such as Parkinson's UK. We will develop and establish this in close collaboration with the NIHR, National Institute for Health Related Research. And we'll also reach out to other organizations who may have an interest in supporting us. And this will need to evolve. Again, we're fortunate in that others have already set up extremely successful clinical study groups, and we're keen to learn from them. But then eventually, of course, we'll also more and more develop what will be exactly right for the Parkinson's disease community here in the UK.
Emma, could you tell us a bit about when this group is planning to meet and when it's planning to launch?
Absolutely. So we're planning to meet remotely each month, and then hoping to have an annual face-to-face meeting as well. And we're hoping that the group will be able to launch around Easter time. So I think there'll be some exciting times to come.
That's brilliant. And so how can researchers and people with Parkinson's get involved with this initiative?
So I think this will evolve, but the concept we have at the moment is as follows. So the core team will be the applicants. So that's myself, Tom Faltini and Camille Carroll, and those clinician scientists who are named collaborators on the initial grant application to Cure Parkinson's disease. We tried really hard to get key clinician scientists on board at a very early stage. But of course, this will not be a closed shop. We very much want to be open and transparent. We're very keen to hear from others. And there will be a more formal membership application process. And the details of which will be published in due course on our webpage.
Brilliant. Emma and Oliver, thank you so much for your time today. We're really excited to see this project up and running.